If you are the oldest, in a minute when you hear the music, if you are the oldest, you are going to come and get one copy for your team of the 3 drafts of the new version of the GVC. If you are the, did I say oldest or youngest? Oldest. If you are the youngest, you are going to come get one copy of an Ed Leader 21 rubric. Turn the music on, Jamie. So if I can have your attention for a moment, then I'm going to turn you loose to do some work. 2 months ago, I gave you the top of the world-class outcomes for Read, Write, Communicate from kindergarten through 6th grade. So you were in tables and you were teams and you had this piece of paper. Looking familiar? And then you had the Ed Leader 21 rubrics, and you wrote all over to give feedback of how to get those 4 C's into the world-class outcomes. What you have in front of you is a draft of 4th grade. So you have a draft of what was on here. Remy, I'm looking for my flip chart with my data, by the way. Piece of paper, numbers on it. Okay. So I took what was on here to make what you have in the middle of here. The first time I typed it as a paragraph, this middle part. One of the things that you told me is creativity wasn't even on the first set of the GVC. Creativity was missing. One of the things you told me on your notes is that communication's kind of there, but it's not 21st century communication as defined by these Ed Leader 21 rubrics. So the work that we did last year to come up with this was a great start. And it helped us go from this to infuse the 4 C's. I could not have done that if you had not done this first. Thank you, darling. So, this part in the center, just look at Read, Write, Communicate. This part in the center is the step up from what you did on the first generation. This part right here. I had it as a paragraph. Then we looked at it and said, you know, it might be easier as a bullet list. I did not like the bullet list. I looked at the bullet list and I said, people had 4 outcomes and now they have 11. And I panicked. I said, I don't know that I can stand in front of teachers and say more is better. But then I used it to do a backwards plan for a 4th grade unit. And I liked it. Because I didn't have to use the whole paragraph. I could pick just the specific bullets that I wanted. I worked with 25 4th grade teachers last week. Thank you very much for those of you who are here. And one of the feedbacks that I got is that the bullets are easier to plan with in stage 1 for those outcomes because you don't have to do the whole outcome. You can pick and choose for your unit. So, what you have in front of you is this new template. When we surveyed the principals, one of our questions was, on the new template, how big of a priority is it to have those 4 C's infused? How big of a priority? Because 2 months ago when we asked you about the 4 C's on the left, people said wallpaper. When I was at Coyote Creek Tuesday, when I asked the teachers there, you know what they said? Just a reminder, doesn't help me get any better at it, just reminds me. So 44% of the principals in our survey said having those 4 C's infused is a high priority. 50% said it's a priority. So the 4 C's infused, they're color-coded red. The goal is that when you click on it electronically, it will take you to the Ed Leader 21 rubric for you to peel out what you want for assessment, which will help you in stage 2. Because if you have to write a new rubric every time, you're going to die. So that's part of why we want to use these rubrics, this language. When we surveyed, we said, how important would it be to have enduring understandings on the GVC template? 66% of the administrators said it's a high priority. 27% of them said it's a priority. 5% said it's not a priority at all. As I've been going to schools and having this on an overhead, about 85% of the people like it. About 15% don't. You don't have to use these enduring understandings. But to me, it's scaffolding. It took me 2 months to even like an enduring understanding. And Holly can write them immensely better than I can. Holly loves the language. Christy's like reading a book the other day, and she goes, there's an enduring understanding. And Christy doesn't like to read. Thank you, Gretchen. So for me, you got to hit me over the head with an enduring understanding. I mean, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. You don't have to love the enduring understandings, but the majority of the people like them. You don't have to use them. The big ideas on the left, when you see argument, creativity, inquiry, and 21st century communication, guess what we did? We went and talked to assessment. We went and talked to assessment about what are the big themes, what are those big ideas that are going to be on the interim assessment. Because the interim assessment wants to look at progress over time. And they said, you know, inquiry is going to be one of them. They said argument, because the Common Core is full of what's called claims and evidence, also known as argument. So we didn't just pick these out of the sky. The part down below is an electronic click to a progression. So if you click on this left-hand box, then it would take you to the progression that you have on that legal sheet. We had misinformation out there where people thought, when we talked about linking the GVC to the state standards, they thought you'd have to go to the website and find them. We'd like to link it to the progression so you don't have to go through everything. So you have in front of you 3 drafts. This is the only grade level we've done. We are not racing ahead of you. We are listening. We are working on it. The more we talk to people, the more feedback we get. The more we talk with assessment, the more feedback we get. Last week when I worked with 4th grade teachers, part of it was getting feedback on the GVC because I had them together. So we have a draft for 4th grade only. We would like to get all of elementary done by January. So we don't have the other grades done. But because, and you're going to help me with social studies tonight in a minute, but because you did such a great job on the outcomes in the first place, it's easier than if we were starting from nothing. because we have the 4C rubrics, it's easier with this in there because I'm stealing this language out of here. I'm working on alignment. So we have better tools to write the higher outcomes. Here's what I want you to do. At your table, we need to talk about why. Why is this GVC more helpful for teachers? Because in January, we're going to have to frame this to our colleagues. And we're not rolling out one grade ahead of the other. We're going to do it together. We're going to roll it out all at elementary at the same time, all the 4 content areas, again. But that is the plan, not piecemealing it out. So what I need to know is, how do we write the commercial? I have data, I've had feedback, I've listened, but how do we write the commercial to frame it for teachers? Because I do not want to add more stress. And if we don't know the why and we don't know how it was put together, then they're going to freak out. So I need your help. We need your help with framing it. Why would this be helpful? So I want you to brainstorm for 10 minutes, and then we're going to share out on a flip chart, and you're going to tell us, you're going to help us write that commercial for why this Generation 2 is an upgrade. Everybody good? Smile. Because I love you. Smile, smile, come on, smile. Come on, smile. We'll get better seats next time. Okay, go, work.